But don't forget about Grant Langston. He won the Outdoor Championship and the U.S. Open. Meanwhile, Chad Reed, he won it all in 2004. He wants that #1 plate back on his bike. The bikes, the brawn, the best of the best. It's round 1 of Monster Energy AMA Supercross in FIM World Championship. The fans have been waiting nearly 365 days for this night. The wait is nearly over. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Vuillepoto, and what a new year indeed. Fresh expectations, wide open opportunities, and a new title sponsor. If you're a regular viewer of our Supercross broadcast, you've already recognized our newest member, Monster Energy, the new title sponsor of the AMA Supercross Championship. And what a monster season we have in store. Once again, we are blowing this thing wide open. A half-hour pre-race preceding all of tonight's on-track action. So what is in store? Well, we've seen Supercross go over to NASCAR. Now we've seen NASCAR coming to Supercross. We're going to catch up with Gibbs Racing motocross venture, plus a look at the next generation of Supercross young phenom Ryan Villopoto. All that plus non-stop racing action. If the bikes are on the track, you will see it live. Let's go ahead and bring in the other members of our broadcast team, Ralph Shaheen, Jeff Emick, and Aaron Bates. Aaron is braving the elements. We're going to hear from her in a bit. Let's start, though, with the guys calling tonight's race, Jeff and Ralph.
Well, thank you, Chris, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to Anaheim. We get ready to kick off another season of Supercross competition. As we were headed out west, a lot of conversation was taking place about the reigning champ, James Stewart, but maybe not for why you would think. You see, James got hurt last year during the motocross season in the summer, and a lot of people, according to James, have written him off. And Jeff, I find that so hard to believe.
Yeah, even James Stewart feels that he's the underdog coming into this race because he's been off for so long. But James has made some changes in his program. He hired Eldon Baker, trainer for Ricky Carmichael and Ben Townley, bring him into his camp to elevate his program. But I do think that there's two riders, both the Yamaha boys, Chad Reed and Grant Langston, AMA motocross champion from last season. They got something to say about it.
Well, if you've seen any of the news reports this weekend, you've seen all the weather that's hit the Pacific coast. It has been a lot of rain out here in Southern California. How is that going to affect the racetrack here for Anaheim 1?
Well, the track is really hard underneath and it's pretty sloppy on top, but the biggest thing I've always said, if you come into a race like this, you have to have the right attitude. If you have the right attitude, man, everything just seems to flow. If you don't, you're shaking in your boots, you're off your program, you don't know what's going to happen. So attitude and confidence.
Well, Chris, that's a little bit of what we can expect here tonight. It should be a great curtain raiser for the 2008 season.
You can feel the energy inside Angel Stadium. There you see Chad Reed looking on. That's a live shot of Chad Reed before he's about to be introduced. And you mentioned the heavy rain, the hurricane force winds, but it's not as bad as it could have been. In fact, Angel Stadium could have been a devil of a mud bath, but it is prime condition right now for racing. Hey, don't forget, this is just the beginning. Once we get all cleaned up tonight, we will head to Phoenix. Hopefully there won't be any rain in the desert, but it doesn't matter. Speed will be there as our 17-week tour of the Supercross season continues January 13th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And we'll continue to get you revved up for the Anaheim opener. The Go Green trivia question is coming up. It's your chance to win a TV.
Wednesday night on Speed. Supercross again. Just tune in to Supercross Live.
Speed's coverage of the Monster Energy AMA Supercross from Anaheim is brought to you by Progressive. Visit progressive.com today. question presented by Kawasaki. A chance for you to win an LG widescreen flat panel HD TV. Tonight's question, who was the first Kawasaki rider to win the Anaheim Supercross in the 250 or Supercross class? Is it 1, Jeff Ward, 2, Ricky Carmichael, 3, Mike LaRocco, or 4, Galen Mosier? To enter, it's simple. Log on to speedtv.com, keyword Kawasaki to record your answer. And there are some hints available on the site if you need them. Or you can text your answer 1, 2, 3, or 4 to speed3 or 77333. Standard texting rates apply. The winner will receive a 22-inch LG widescreen flat panel HD TV. It's tonight's Go Green Trivia question. The answer coming up later in the show. Meanwhile, back here in Anaheim at the Electricity, the Energy building inside Angel Stadium, we talked about James Stewart. He has got a giant bullseye on his back. He's the guy everyone is gunning for. Here's what some of the other top contenders had to say about racing the champ.
I'm excited, I know James is going to be strong. He's going to be fast, and but I think this off season's been good, and we're ready.
Pretty sure we know what we can expect. He's going to be lightning fast. I mean, he's been the fastest guy for the past few years. As far as that goes, we know what to expect. He's going to be, as far as speed-wise, he's going to be the fastest guy out there.
Well, the Anaheim opener could certainly set the tone for the rest of the season. If Stewart wins tonight, he will match Jeremy McGrath's record of 3 consecutive opening round wins. So is he feeling the pressure? Well, literally just a few moments ago, Aaron Bates caught up with him.
Standing by with 2007 reigning defending champion, Supercross champion, James Stewart. James, the last time we saw you compete a competitive lap here racing was Washougal of this summer. What is it like being back on this circuit, and what is your overall goal for the season?
Well, I mean, obviously, just to be safe. I mean, I'm having a blast, being at home, out of racing, it's so much fun when you get back, and I'm just happy for these fans. We got a pretty decent track, and I just want to give them a show. We all need to give them a show.
Now take us through practice, take us through those conditions out there. We saw you go down a couple of times. What are your thoughts on this racetrack?
A couple of times. I only fell over one time. I got to calm them down. We got to one time, all right? I just a little slid out over there, but I mean, it's gnarly. I mean, it's going to be tough, and I think the fans going to definitely be excited, so we should be in for a good treat, and should be good.
Alden Baker is on your side now. That's got to be quite the treat. You guys, James Stewart back for more.
Thanks, Aaron. So much more coming up as we get ready to drop the gate for the 45th time in Anaheim. It's the Monster Energy AMA Supercross season opener. You will see it live on Speed. It's been called a rock concert with motorcycles. The Supercross experience is like no other, and we are bringing it all to you live. Welcome back to Angel Stadium in Anaheim, site of the 2008 Supercross season opener. Behind me down on the track, rider interviews taking place before tonight's on-track racing action. Southern California, the hotbed of Supercross stars, but a kid from the state of Washington is making everyone look twice. Ryan Villopoto lit up the Lights West region last year, collecting 8 wins en route to the championship. This year, in order to get some extra recuperating time, he'll wait to race until the series heads east, but it won't be long before he's lining up and contending with the big boys of Supercross.
Coming hard up the inside is Villopoto. And everybody's chasing this man, Ryan Villopoto.
As a rider, I think Mitch Payton's success in Monster Kawasaki is it's pretty easy to see. I think everybody on the team puts in a lot of work, and so does the riders. So it kind of evens it out, and we're all out there to do a job and to win championships.
Ryan Villopoto takes the win here in Anaheim. His second win of the year.
Continues the dominance of the Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki team.
Key to coming to a new track on the weekend and happen to race it after 20 minutes of practice. It's just go out there, get the main sections dialed, and then start worrying about all the rest of the whoops, the turns, and all that. Once you get the main rhythm sections down, it's pretty easy by then. What I've learned is just kind of be patient and just kind of wait for things to come to you, and always get a good start, because that's what helps you out the most.
Well, the last thing the field wanted to see was Ryan Villopoto getting the roll shot with a clean racetrack in front of him. That just makes it so much harder to reel him in.
I don't know if you could necessarily top it, but for sure I want to just do what I did last year. Like I won every Supercross but one, so if I can do that and then have another great year outdoors, it would be good.
He has done it. He has won the AMA Supercross Lights West Coast Series title. Hurry up, get ready. You're going to Supercross.
Matching up with James Stewart, the future will be, a tough race. I mean, he's one of the best. He beat Ricky many a times, and it's going to take a lot of work for me to, once I get on the 450, to start running his pace and just kind of see where it goes. Definitely I want to try to win races and championships, and that means I'll be racing him and Ben Townley, so it'll be a lot of work.
Much anticipation about the thought of Ryan Villopoto and James Stewart going bar to bar on those big bikes, Jeff, but he's hurt right now.
Yeah, and with Villopoto out, he's the favorite wherever he races. That leaves this West Coast Lights wide open, but I'd have to think that Ryan Dungey is one of the favorites. He's solid. I'm picking Jason Lawrence as my wild card. I think this kid's going to be good this year.
Well, we're getting closer and closer to the start of racing here tonight. The first heat races coming up right here on Speed. And oh, by the way, we are the home of all those Supercross Lights races. Stay with us. We're coming back for racing in Anaheim.
Speed's coverage of the Monster Energy AMA Supercross from Anaheim is brought to you by Progressive. Visit progressive.com today. It's almost time. You can feel it in the air. You can hear it in the voices of the crowd. They are ready for the mud to fly, and so are we. It's the 35th season of AMA Supercross action, and it just could be our best season yet. Let's send it back over to Ralph Shaheen and Jeff Emick. Guys, your thoughts on what to expect tonight?
Well, I can't wait to drop that first gate. That's the first thing, and get this thing underway. And Jeff, as we think about this now, I still can't get over the fact that some people have written off James Stewart. I think it's going to be interesting to see how James bounces back from that knee injury last summer, and who, if anybody, can ride the same pace as the fastest man on the planet, James Stewart.
Yeah, but I think that there's a host of other riders that are really up to the challenge. I think right now we've seen the healthiest, fittest group of racers in Supercross in a number of years. And first race, everybody has 0 points at this. Everybody's leading right now.
And the key to this night might be turn number 1.
I think so. I think that the track, if you look down the start straight here, all the way down about 300 feet, a tight 180. The first turn, extremely muddy, but underneath of it, it's very hard. So first turn is going to be key.
Let's show you the Supercross 411 for tonight's racing program as to how everybody's going to transfer through the night. There'll be 2 heats for each, with the top 9 going on to the main. We'll have some last chance qualifiers and then 2 main events that top off the evening here at Anaheim 1, Krista.
Unbelievable. Grant Langston has the momentum. Chad Reed has the hunger. James Stewart has the title. Will it be one of these 3, or will another rider write his name in the history books? The next chapter gets written, and you will see it all live right here in HD on Speed. Enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to Angel Stadium, Anaheim, California. Ralph Shaheen alongside former Supercross champion Jeff Emick. We are ready to raise the curtain on the 2008 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship season. Crowd's ready, the riders are in the gate. Let's check in with Aaron Bates. Well, first let's do it up close to show you how we're going to get through this first heat here tonight at Anaheim. Looking for the riders in the gate. We'll have 20 of them for this 6th lap event. Top 9 will transfer straight to the main event. Everybody else goes the last chance qualifier. Fastest qualifier was Chad Reed. Here's our progressive pre-race report with Aaron Bates.
The last time you saw the number 60 at Broc Hepler race a Supercross race was in 05 at the Las Vegas East-West Shootout. 06 he had an injured left foot. In 07 he suffered from a severe concussion and had to sit the entire season out. He says that he is more ready than he has ever been. He's ready to step up, and he's very excited to get this first race jitters out of the way.
Here is the starting grid for Supercross lights on the West Coast, heat number 1. Ryan Dungey, we're going to get to see him right out of the gate. Broc Hepler, we've talked a lot about. Jake Weimer on the Honda, another rider, Jeff, that we should be paying a lot of attention to.
Yeah, this championship is wide open. There's a lot of good riders here tonight, and this is all starts this first gate drop. There's so much anticipation. This is awesome.
That's the 32nd board. She's going to turn that sideways, and then quite possibly the greatest season of Supercross competition will be underway live right here on Speed. We're glad to have you with you. Here we go. The riders are in the gate. Here come the revs. We're underway. 2008 Supercross. And turn 1 was the problem we thought it might be, Jeff.
And that's Dan Reardon. He got there first, but he went wide. The first turn is so slippery. You can see the riders are everywhere here tonight.
That's Hepler in the blue on the 60. He's already dropped back to 2nd. Okay, now making a move to the inside to take the lead is Hepler.
And you can already see how difficult the track is, what they've done. Oh, and Hepler is off the bike.
Hepler tries to remount the motorcycle as quickly as he can. Remember the top 9 transfer. Everybody else is going to go half to that last chance qualifier that just lengthens your evening.
And that is definitely disappointing for Broc Hepler. More riders down again.
Let's see what happened to Hepler on the 60. He was out front early.
And you can see riders on the inside slipping and sliding. Hepler just loses traction. Manages the bike not to go over, but he got catapulted over the front of the bike. Watch right here, the bike loses traction, loses the drive, comes up short. Fortunately, he remounted on the bike and he's still going.
There's Hepler now deep in the field, trying to make up lost ground. And a lot of jumps as he works in this rhythm section because of the conditions tonight, where you might do a triple, you're forced to do a double, as we look at Ryan Dungey out front leading here. The Suzuki rider at the Suzuki factory has put a lot of high hopes on this young man.
Well, and if you remember on the East Coast, Ryan Dungey started out last year. The first round wasn't so good, but after that, he was one of the stars. Now on the West Coast here to challenge all of the West Coast races. And what's funny, you think of West Coast, it being sunny and dry, but all these stadiums are open, so we are open to the elements.
Here's the battle for second. Gracyk and Gracyk. And Gavin Gracyk is such a great story. He has battled against so much adversity in his life, and here he is running now in the top 3 in heat number 1 at Anaheim 1, the biggest race of the year.
And Reardon was fast earlier today in qualifying practice, held fastest qualifying position for some time, and just got overtaken right at the end.
Reardon, by the way, is on the red 114. Close is also in there. That's close on the 74. He's now moved up in front of Gracyk, who slips back behind them on the 273, the red machine.
And let me explain for a second why the track is so difficult like this, why it's so muddy. This is brand new soil this year for Anaheim. Extremely hard, but it was dry when they put it in. They covered it with plastic, like Aaron said earlier. When they pull the plastic off, all the water runs out. So the jumps were actually dry when we started practice. All the low-lying areas were just completely saturated. Since then, the track is just completely deteriorated.
And the expectations of it throughout the course of the night are not favorable. It's probably just going to get worse, what do you think?
And it only gets more difficult. Remember, we haven't had any rain actually today. This is all rain from earlier this week.
This is back to the battle for 5th, which is LaPaglia and Hepler now. Hepler on the 60, the blue bike and the blue riding gear. trying to get inside of Lapaglia. And Michael Lapaglia on the 138 at Murrieta, California on the Suzuki.
Watch Hepler, he gets a little more drive. Nope, he loses traction. The thing about the track tonight also that we noticed in practice, a rider seems like he's got drive, everything's lined up. A split second, you just completely lose your balance and get thrown off your line.
Well, the good news for Hepler, he's back up to 6th, Jeff, and that's going to get him, if he can stay there, a straight trip to the main event without having to worry about that last chance qualifier.
Yeah, I got a feeling that the LCQ is going to be very difficult here tonight, and there's so many good riders here in the West Coast Light Series. You don't want to be stuck in that last chance qualifier where there's only a few positions to be had.
And of course, the riders that'll be battling throughout the night are paying a lot of attention to what's happening in all these earlier heat races as they try to get an idea of where to run, which line is going to be the best. And Dungey, having found a good one right now, he is out in front and running a very good lap time, about 2 to 3 seconds quicker than those behind him in second and third.
And actually, this section here that Ryan's going through, it's a fairly basic section, but because of how the track is, the conditions, it's extremely difficult for the riders to stay in their line and do just basic doubles.
There's Dungey into the loop section.
You gotta like a lead like that.
On a night like tonight, especially.
Nice way to start the season.
That is Brayton. There's Brayton on the other red bike on the 114. Justin sitting in second place. This is the last lap for heat number 1. Picking his way through.
Yeah, and you see how patient Brayton is right there, just really trying to be calm going through these turns, not to make any quick moves.
Dungey working his way around on the final tour here.
Just an incredible rider. If you remember, last year was his rookie season. This is only his starting his second season in Supercross, and he seems like a seasoned veteran.
Not only a very talented young man, but a very centered young man when you talk to him. Spending a lot of time working with Johnny O'Mara, and boy, that's helping him a lot too.
Yeah, Johnny O is a great mentor to him, a great coach and trainer. Definitely a good man to have on your side, and he's won here at Anaheim before.
One of the greatest in the sport, Johnny O'Mara. And Ryan Dungey just rolls it across the finish line jump as he wins heat number 1 here at Anaheim. This is a fight for second continuing. Brayton, Blows, Gracyk, Hepler all in the top 5, working their way to the finish here. And nobody's going to sky over the jump tonight. Brayton will take second. Blows will hold on for third. And it looks like Hepler will finish right behind Gracyk inside the top 5. Goes from the lead, crashes, still ends up finishing in the top 5. But Ryan Dungey wins heat number 1 for Suzuki. And Jeff, we've talked so much about the mental approach to this sport. If you can come out and win heat number 1 like Dungey just did, that's going to set you up great for that main event.
Oh, it definitely raises your confidence. He's feeling good, high-fiving his mechanic. That's what they wanted. That's what they've been working so hard in the off-season to do, is execute their plan to perfection. And right now, by winning the first heat, he's one step closer to his goal.
Let's take a look at the results out of heat number 1. Suzuki gets the win. KTM with a hard-earned second place. Suzuki coming right in behind him in third as well. And Gracyk on the Honda finishes in 4th. So as our winner makes his way over to the victory podium area, we'll be talking about heat number 2 coming up. As Ryan Dungey gets the helmet off, you see the Leon neck brace that he's wearing. New to the sport last year. Great safety innovation these riders are trying out these days. And a lot of variations of that coming to the marketplace as well. And let's go now to Aaron Bates, who's got our heat 1 winner.
Ryan Dungey taking that first heat win of the season. Ryan, wasting no time. You're out there giving it everything you got. How bad are the conditions?
Track's really rutted, you know. It's I'm having fun with it though, you know. Me and we sat down, talked about it, and just having a good time with it, you know, nothing stupid. And just like to thank my Makita Suzuki, Rockstar Team Makita Suzuki, and all my sponsors, Answer, One, Oakley, Garnet, Nike 6.0 and all the crew here. I appreciate it.
This kid from Minnesota, he said, rain or shine, he's going to bring his A game.
That he did. He'll get ready now for the main event. It'll probably take him that long just to get the bike clean as they get ready for the main here tonight. Stay with us. We're coming right back to Anaheim. Heat number 2 for the lights coming up. Crowd packed into Angel Stadium here in Anaheim, California, as we get set for heat number 2 for the Supercross Lights West Coast Series. Now let's show you the up close for heat number 2. 20 riders once again in the gate, 6 laps. Top 9, of course, will go on to the main event, and the rest of the field moves to that last chance qualifier. Starting grid now for heat number 2 as the riders get those engines warmed up. We get to see Jason Lawrence on his Yamaha Rider 338. And a lot of folks anticipating a lot of good things out of J-Law.
Fastest qualifier in practice. The kids on fire started working with Ryan Hughes over the offseason. You know, Ryan has been putting him through the ringer. He's going to be in shape this year, and I think he's going to be more mentally strong than ever.
There is Jason Lawrence on the 338. You saw the graphic. Fastest in practice, qualifying today. Let's see if he's got his focus ready to go as they charge down to turn number 1. Here we go, heat number 2. Well, Jason Lawrence gets the whole shot. He wasn't the fastest down the front straightaway, but he's the one that comes out with the whole shot. That's all that matters.
And he actually played it the smartest by hugging the inside. These riders, that's Canary that's down. Big mistake. They rounded that first turn, all the mud, all the ruts. It's going to be a long ways to qualifying for these 2 riders.
That's Will Hahn on the 99 involved as well. Tough break for those 2 riders looking now at probably going to that last chance qualifier.
And this is actually Will Hahn's first Supercross, younger brother of Tommy Hahn.
Watch Billy Laninovich. He's the one that's going to get hung up in the gate here, Jeff.
Right in the middle here, and what he does is he stalls it. But like we talked about, Ralph, everyone's flying down into the first turn. You see the riders on the outside getting stood up, and the riders on the inside just squeaking by, grabbing the whole shot.
So Lawrence now out and on his way. Well, as we said, Jeff, so much talked about Jason Lawrence and where he's coming into this 2008 season. How is he going to perform and working with Ryan Hughes and what that might do. And you were saying that you thought maybe that's the perfect pairing for Jason.
Well, I think so. You know, Jason over the last couple of years has been known as a bit of a problem child, but always tons of speed. He rides so effortlessly, a lot of talent on the machine, and I think that working with Ryan Hughes is going to help his mental side along with the physical side too.
Taking a look at the battle for third, Matt Lemoyne and Stroupe. Stroupe on the 51. Now that was Ryan Villopoto's number last year, and he's changed to number 2. We'll see that when we get to the East Coast. And Austin Stroupe, boy, on that 51. So much anticipation for him as well. And as you watch the hat scrolling across the top of the screen, take note of the top 9. They'll be highlighted in green. That means they hold one of those transfer spots. Those in red, looking at a trip to the last chance qualifier.
Yeah, now Lemoyne, he was a rookie last year. He was in this position that Austin Stroupe is in right now. What was interesting is that both of the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki riders, Brett Metcalfe and Austin Stroupe, throughout qualifying practice, they were so far back that they were actually out of qualifying position until just the end of practice, and they really ramped it up. I was worried about Austin Stroupe in practice. Is he going to qualify fast enough? So maybe he had to just warm up, get the jitters out, whatever it is. He's worked it out, and he has a good ride going here in the heat race.
You know, in some of those tight shots, you really get a good look at just how much rain they had in the area and what it did to this racetrack. It's such a good job of trying to save the track the best they could, but there's so much torrential downpour in the Southern California area.
Yeah, and keep in mind, it has not rained today.
Right.
It's just, it's mind-boggling how bad the amount of the conditions that the track is. The jumps are very hard. It's very hard dirt. So underneath of all this slop is where it's all messy. And look who's sneaking up behind here.
That's Brett Metcalfe on the 123. Teammate to the man who's leading. Or not leading, but I should say right in front of him, Stroupe.
Brett Metcalfe suffering through so many injuries over the past few years, and last summer in the Motocross Championship really came on strong, gained a lot of confidence. We spoke with him earlier today, Ralph. He says, I feel good, I am healthy, and I am ready to race.
These two Kawasaki riders getting set to battle. Trying to catch Lemoyne right in front of him. Metcalfe working the inside of the 123.
It's tough when you're racing your teammate here because you definitely, you don't want to make any mistakes. Either the rider in front or the rider behind coming in on him in a turn.
Oh, well, there's a mistake right there. Stroupe right into the top block and then off the course and down.
He's back up now. He has to be patient here. He's on the plastic and the plywood. It is very slippery out there. Nice remount for Austin Stroupe, and he's still going to be in qualifying position.
Maybe if he hangs on.
Let's take a look at this. See, he doubles in and catches a top block with his right boot. And just like I was talking about how earlier, he just seems like everything's fine, and then one of these ruts throws you off instantly. And there's another situation, same exact thing. He looked perfectly fine. Next thing you know, drops down in the rut and loses his balance.
That was Tommy Hahn on the 32. Another one of the Kawasaki riders as we watch the last lap. Well, Jeff, coming into the night, we talked a lot about Jason Lawrence and Ryan Dungey, and they're both going to win their heat races.
Seems like we know what we're talking about here. We have no crystal ball. We just lucked out on this one, but Jason Lawrence right now, picture perfect race. This tells me he is mentally strong and he is focused on this event.
That's just what he needs. Boy, that confidence boost he's going to get out of this is going to be huge. He looks extremely comfortable. Considering how dirty it is out there, he doesn't even look like he's been riding on this track. Look at he looks extremely clean.
Yeah, but if you notice in the high definition, he doesn't have any goggles on right now.
Checkered flag for Jason Lawrence. He wins heat number 2 and does so rather handily as we go back to the battle for second. Osborne and Lemoyne were battling for the second position. And to the line it's going to be Metcalfe, then Lemoyne. So Zach Osborne must have fallen down in the last couple of corners and we just didn't see it on the camera. So it's going to be Lawrence, Metcalfe, and Lemoyne, the top 3. So a good finish for Matt Lemoyne on his Yamaha. Stroupe making his Supercross debut. Now he definitely looks like he's been running on this racetrack. And that's the other thing, Jeff. There's so much anticipation for him and build up, the adrenaline, getting that first Supercross race in under his belt. A simple mistake, not too costly, he's going to transfer.
A lot of nerves for a young kid, a lot of pressure. You know, he's in the testing and all the practicing over the off season. He was really good. So maybe the expectations, maybe his expectations were a little high. Right now, you know, I got to think he's feeling good, though, just to get that out of the way, to get that sweat on, you know.
Here's a look at the results. The Kawasaki crew will try to get Austin back to the pit area, calm him down. Hey, you're going to the main event. Don't worry about it. Here's the other 8 riders that will join you there out of heat number 2. And we'll go right down to the victory podium area. Here's Aaron with Jason Lawrence.
Jason Lawrence taking his helmet off, catching a breath. Jason, you have not only had the fastest practice time for the lights class, but also the Supercross class. What gives with you today?
I don't know. Hopefully that's just the beginning, you know? Maybe this can be a whole year-long thing, but I think it's got to do with my fitness and my trainer, you know, Ryan Hughes. That's my biggest help. He tells me what to do. I told him just right there watching the first heat race, I've never won one. He's all, this is yours. Got a good start, you know, got to thank him for that too. He helped me with that, so never get good starts, way easier.
Jason Lawrence, he said he matured both on and off the track, and I guess he's out to prove it.
Well, winning will do a lot to boost your confidence. He's got that first win. Now, can he get a main event win? We got Supercross heats coming up.
Welcome back to the 2008 Supercross season opener live on Speed from Angel Stadium in Anaheim. 2 heat races in the books. The fans have not been disappointed. Well, on January 25th, tune in for the trials and tribulations of the longest off-road race below the equator. Will Ryan Millen follow in his father's tracks or fall victim to the muddy pine forest of New Zealand? Don't miss the 2 roads to Topo, January 25th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific, only on Speed. Ryan Dungey of Belle Plaine, Minnesota, and Carlsbad, California's Jason Lawrence win the lights. Coming up, we have the Supercross heats. Let's take a look at our up close to find out how it's all going to go down in these 2 Supercross heat races. 20 riders, 8 laps, top 9 transfer to the main event. The rest go on to the last chance qualifier. Chad Reed was our fastest qualifier. For the latest on what's happening trackside, we go down to Aaron Bates for a Progressive Correct pre-race report.
Well, you're taking a look at the number 800, Mike Alessi, sitting behind me, making his official Supercross debut here at Anaheim 1. He wanted to be so prepared for this race. In fact, he was expecting so much mud that he brought in 3 truckloads of water and dumped it all over his track. Living in Victorville, California, he's used to dry conditions, but he said he's ready, he's set, and he's excited to get this gate to drop.
You can see him ready. Mike Gosler, Ricky Carmichael's old mechanic, now his mechanic. As you take a look at our starting grid for heat number 1, and boy, what a great one this is. Chad Reed, Tim Ferry, Grant Langston, Mike Alessi making his debut, Nathan Ramsey, Chad Reed's teammate is in this one, Nick Way with one of his best rides ever moving to KTM this year.
Yeah, and outside of Michael Byrne, everybody in the Supercross class is healthy and racing here this weekend.
Now, Troy Adams is going to carry it on board for us. Here's his view as you look all the way down to that very tricky first turn.
300 plus feet all the way down there, wide open. Get on the brakes, sliding through the mud, trying to turn a 180 and come all the way back. Look how moist the track is.
Here we go. Heat 1 for Supercross. Shot, he's going to go to the number 43 machine of Gibson. Gibson does a great job of dancing it down that straightaway, and Jeff Gibson has the early lead. But here comes Chad Reed on the Yamaha, number 22, the former champion. Jeff, he told you and I this weekend he is sick and tired of second and third. He wants to win and he wants to reclaim that championship crown.
Well, and he's on that new Yamaha 450. They've been very successful with that bike with Grant Langston. Chad loves the bike too. His confidence is high, but like you said, his determination, his desire is maybe higher than ever.
And that cost him a little right there. You saw the determination go through that roof section. Boy, he had that thing pinned, was up on top of him and just floating across it. He was gaining ground on Gibson, but he got to the end of that straightaway through that roof section and ran out of track.
Well, this track tonight is so treacherous. It's making the greatest Supercross riders in the world make mistakes, which is great for us. It's great action. You see Chad making another mistake there. Now remember, these riders only had 1 wall bike practice.
And that was Alessi that just lost it. He was closing in. And Mike is up trying to get the Suzuki refired, facing the wrong way. Oh, that's so frustrating. He was sitting there in third, making great ground on Reed in second.
And it's going to be tough for him to get this bike started. That's Jeff Gibson still in the lead.
And Chad Reed just went down. That's Reed that went down right behind Gibson.
And you can see how much mud is collected on the bike. It collects on your gear. It collects into the throttle, the clutch, everything. Your gloves get muddy, makes it very difficult. Look at the replay. Just on the left side of your screen, look, he's riding it like a bull in a rodeo. Managed to wrestle it down. And then Chad Reed here on the outside looks like he's got the line and just loses the front wheel. Unbelievable how slippery it is underneath.
There goes Alessi again, where you can see just not able to get that bike back under him. Now, Chad Reed, wow, he got through that corner very well, riding up way high on that berm, where it looks real treacherous just below that, but the higher up that berm you go, the better it is. Well, you know what, Jeff? We talked about the torrential rain, what it did to the racetrack, and what it could do to the results here tonight. Jeff Gibson, without question, an underdog here in heat number 1. He might take the win.
Well, Gibson from Blacklick, Ohio, you know it rains back there. He has ridden in some mud before. Tim Ferry, once again, all day today, he has been so solid and patient. Right now, not making any mistakes is what has helped catapult him past Alessi and Chad Reed in the second position.
The other thing to take note of is the fact that Jeff Gibson is a privateer for all intents and purposes. Tim Ferry on a full factory Kawasaki ride, sitting in second place.
This is Josh Hill we're focused on the blue bike here, right there, number 40. Josh Hill out of Washington. He has ridden in some rain races too, and your confidence, all of that comes to play here. I've ridden in the rain before, I know how to handle this.
That's Troy Adams on the 44. Right behind him and closing in on them is Grant Langston on that factory Yamaha.
And let me check that. Hill's from Oregon. Don't want to have him give me a talking to afterwards, but he is really putting it down here tonight, showing us this is a great first ride on a 450 for Josh Hill.
Out of Yoncalla, Oregon.
Langston's here. You see him coming down the inside here. And just misses this line. That's where he wanted to be, right in there. Just kind of high-sided, missed his line a little bit, and what we've seen here, especially on the 450s, is that these riders, there's so much power in the bike, and they're just hammering the throttle at the bottom of the jumps or out of the turns, and it is really losing traction.
There's Langston again. We're watching Langston just in front. There's Chad Reed running right with him, and Reed around the outside. That'll put Reed up in the 5th place if he can hold on to it. He takes Langston high in that corner and takes the position.
And so many mistakes out of both of these riders, but Chad Reed really seems to be dialed in right now. Look, he has dropped Grant Langston by 3 or 4 jumps there instantly once he made the pass.
Look at Reed through the whoops.
Nice and steady that time. He kept the bike straight. He's doing this little step up before the finish line, which there must be a line on the outside that is straightened out and it's giving him just enough drive because we haven't seen anybody jump that little obstacle all night.
Jeff, the 2 key areas in Supercross competition in the last couple of years has been how well you can get through the whoops and how fast you can get through the corners. And Chad Reed seems to be exceptionally good at both of those tonight.
Yes, but tonight you have to be very patient. There's all these rhythm sections that we see that the riders are only doubling. On a dry night, they would be tripling these sections, so it's very treacherous, very difficult.
And for some guys, if you're like James Stewart, you might even make some of those triples into a quad. We've seen him do that before. You saw Tim Ferry. He sits in 3rd right now. It's Gibson, Hill, Ferry. As you watch the names scroll across the top of the screen, remember those in green hold the transfer spots. Those highlighted in red, looking at a trip to the last chance qualifier.
And look at Josh Hill. He's got an inside line on Gibson.
Challenge for the lead and a change for the lead. With now 2 to go. Hill out in front of Gibson, and Ferry sitting right behind him. Well, this could be a great opportunity for Tim Ferry, too. If he can slide through here and take this win.
And look at the top of your screen. Who is that sneaking up the back? Chad Reed, number 22. He is dialed in now after that fall early on.
They've let him reel, but look how much faster he is through there.
Unbelievable speed through that that whoop section from Chad Reed. He tried to go around the outside. There wasn't any room, but he got past Gibson.
And now he's going to get Ferry. Here he comes inside of Ferry. Slower rider tries to get out of the way, and Chad Reed has moved himself to second. Another thing about Chad Reed we noticed this weekend, and we talked to him about it earlier today, he's bulked up. He looks thicker than he has been the last couple of years, and he admitted to us, Jeff, he worked on that a lot in his training. He feels that extra strength is going to help him in these big 450s.
Well, and especially on a night like tonight where all that mud is packed on your bike and adds quite a bit of weight, upwards of 25 pounds. So having to maneuver that bike around when it starts to slide sideways and you have to counteract it with your weight, use your muscles to pull that bike back in line. This is where it's going to count.
Here he comes by Hill for the lead. Chad Reed on the outside.
Watch Reed down the left side here.
Look at that.
Absolutely flying through the whoop section.
And making a statement to everybody who's lining up at the gate for heat number 2. Chad Reed is not having a problem with the mud here tonight. Once he gets going on his rhythm, he is strong.
You know, one of the advantages of being in the second heat as opposed to this first one is all the other riders got a chance to see that line that Chad Reed has. That's right in front of the starting line where the riders are lined up.
Soaking up all those whoops. Chad Reed picking his way around and taking the checkered flag here in heat number 1 for the Supercross class.
Well, partner, that is a statement right there. Chad Reed is here, and he is here to win.
Hill's going to finish second. Ferry will take third. Gibson right behind him. Grant Langston fifth. That's got to be a little bit frustrating, I would think.
A little frustrating because he definitely seemed to be off the pace. When you see your teammates and other guys flying by, he's still in, but not happy with that. But he has the opportunity to make some changes in between now and the main event.
Chad Reed wins heat number 1, but it was not perfect. Let's go back and take a look at Reed's crash during heat number 1.
We'll take a look at Chad Reed here on the blue bike going past Gibson. Just loses the front wheel. You see the bike completely tumble. Very lucky that the grips, the clutch, throttle, everything did not get muddy. And watch here, he squares up his teammate on the Yamaha and just has an awesome line down the left-hand side. Textbook pass.
Chad Reed heads to the victory podium area, and now his crew will get that Yamaha ready for the main event. He has dealt with so much injury over the last couple of years. That's Larry Brooks, team manager right there in the glasses, over to talk to his rider. I don't think you're going to have to get him too pumped up. I think Chad Reed is ready to go racing here in Anaheim 1. Show you the results and those that will transfer. These top 9 riders, including Chad's teammate Nathan Ramsey, who takes the 9th position, are all going straight to the main.
Great ride by Nathan Ramsey, but Jeff Gibson, you got to give it up. He led almost that whole race. That was a fantastic ride in qualifying position in 4th.
Here's Aaron.
Chad Reed means business tonight. Chad, you've always stated some tracks you got to slow down a little bit in order to go a bit faster. Would you say tonight is one of those tracks?
Yes and no. I think you got to attack it. You know, it's you got to be careful, but you know, I'm out here to give it everything I got. I've been that guy that rides it around, rides it smooth, and second and third. So you know, I was having fun out there. I hurt my hand in practice and crashed again and landed on it. So to hell with it. We're just pinning it tonight, and we're going to go for it.
Take us through that. What actually happened for that crash?
Just there was a rut on the backside of that I didn't see, and as soon as I landed, it was a hard kind of dried up rut, and my front wheel went one way and I went the other. But super pumped to be back for the second year with the whole Sam and Well Yamaha. Man, I'm super pumped, and have some new guys on with Fusion Energy and Thor Parts and Limits. So pumped we're live, and like I said, I'm going for it tonight. Go for that whole shot and try to have a strong main event.
Congratulations on your first heat race win of the season.
Well, he is definitely ready, and the one rider we haven't seen yet is that man, number 7, James Stewart. We also get to see Davey Millsaps on the 118 and making his debut on the Honda, Ivan Tedesco on that number 9, right to James' left. Hey, don't forget, we're going to have our trivia question for you when we come back here to Anaheim. back to Anaheim. Angel Stadium in Southern California, the birthplace of Supercross, right here in Southern California. James Stewart sporting the pink and white riding gear tonight. Might be a little dirty by the time he's done with heat number 2.
Yeah, it's going to be brown afterwards.
Time now for the Go Green Trivia question, presented by Kawasaki. A chance for you to win an LG widescreen flat panel HD TV. Here's tonight's question. Who was the first Kawasaki rider to win the Anaheim Supercross in the 250cc or Supercross class? Is it number 1, Jeff Ford, number 2, Ricky Carmichael, 3, Michael Rocco, or 4, Galen Mosher? To enter, it's very simple. Log on to speedtv.com, keyword Kawasaki to record your answer. There are some hints available on the site if you need them. Or you can text your answer, 1, 2, 3, or 4, to speed 3. That's 773333. Standard texting rates apply. The winner will receive a 22-inch LG widescreen flat panel HD TV. Stay tuned to the end of tonight's show. We'll give you the correct answer to tonight's Go Green Trivia question. So good luck. Bro, I know you already know, so just be quiet over there. Let's show you our up close for heat number 2 now for the Supercross class. 20 more riders in the gate. This is for 8 laps. We'll have 9 riders transferring straight on to the main event.
James Stewart, our fastest qualifier, of course, and he's the underdog.
And as we said, we get to see Ivan Tedesco making his debut on his new Honda. Kevin Windham, Davey Millsaps, all on Hondas. And we can see David Vuillemin showing up for the first time on the factory Suzuki.
A lot of exciting riders here. Like we said, this class is stacked, just like the first heat.
There's Davey Millsaps. He's been through a whole host of injuries last year. He's got Andrew Short right next to him on the 29. There's James Stewart. Here we go, heat 2. Stewart's going to get the whole shot. He was not the fastest down the straight, Jeff, but he got the progressive whole shot when he got through the corner.
And I'm telling you, that's the key tonight, is to not be the first rider to the first turn, to be the second guy, break early and sneak down the inside. James Stewart right now, he's going to be on a mission. I think he has a lot to prove. He is very disappointed that people were writing him off. So we're going to see if that new training program with Alden Baker is paying off, and how all of the off-season testing and everything with the bike has been.
Well, and I got to tell you, I would think that maybe the worst thing for the competition was that James had too much time to sit around and think about the fact that he wasn't racing, and anybody who said maybe he's lost it just gave him more motivation.
Well, I'm telling you, sitting at home is tons of motivation. You see these riders out there gaining all the glory, winning the races, making the money. Makes you want to be there.
Andrew Short wants to be there. He's on that number 29 Honda. As you watch the battle for third, he's got Ivan Tedesco on his new Honda.
I see Tedesco switching it up. He rolled the first one, trying to stay out of those deep grooves that are in the normal line. So we're going to see that probably throughout the rest of the night.
Oh, a little contact there as Tedesco gets into the rear wheel of Short.
Just a little knock on the door. Hey, I'm here. But you know what? Ivan Tedesco, he needs to stay out of the line that Andrew Short is in. Now, this is provided that he's going faster than Short. You can see he's dropped back now. Get out of that line. Choose a different line, because you cannot pass a rider if you are following his rear wheel.
Tedesco had so much hype about him last year as we went into the opening round of last season up in Toronto, Canada. And well, he got into a little contact with James Stewart, got injured, and his year just went down the drain. He was never the same rider after that.
And that's why I think he has made a change to the red bike, to Team Honda this year. He had to switch things up.
One of the riders down in that corner, hard to see the number. I believe it was 212A.
Yeah.
Here comes Tedesco. Wow, look at the rear wheel dancing around on his bike. He gets up in past Short and takes over the position now. That'll move Ivan up into third behind Stewart and Kevin Windham.
Once again, Ivan Tedesco's doing that same thing on the back rhythm section, where he's switching it up, getting off sequence from the normal line.
Take a look at how the pass was made.
Now you see Andrew Short slides all the way over to the left side where we see Chad Reed was so successful. Tedesco goes down the middle, huckabucks the whole way through, and still manages to make the pass. That was a little bit of a mistake, and holding on by both parts there, Tedesco definitely got the better end of the deal.
Look at both feet up the pegs as he tries to work his way through those monster-sized whoops and ruts.
Extremely treacherous through their balance plays such a key. There's that little bit of luck that plays the key through there too. We've seen the riders make so many mistakes tonight where it seems like everything's fine. I'm totally lined up, and then next thing you know, the front wheel goes or the rear wheel slides out. That's what makes Supercross so incredible to me. I just love watching it. I love being a part of it because there's only a handful of riders in the world. They're all here tonight that can ride these tracks like this.
James Stewart, arguably the best in the world these days. You see the riders' names in green across the top of the screen. Those are the 9 riders that hold the transfer spots right now. Jerry Dostal and that number 124 in red looking to improve with the rest of the field, trying to get a transfer spot. Kawasaki crew trying to remind James to breathe. Seems simple, but it's not sometimes when you're riding that fast.
And especially here at the first race of the season, there's a lot of nerves going on. Sometimes you actually just forget to breathe. Mechanic used to remind me of that. Constantly breathe. And what that does, you take that air in, it relaxes your torso, relaxes your arms, keeps away the arm pump, and keeps that mind, mind focused.
Kevin Windham has been holding down second since this one got underway. He's about 7 seconds back behind James Stewart. There's Kevin on the Honda right there, number 14.
And Kevin may be a little bit behind Stewart right now, but main event comes around. A lot of people are going to be putting their money on the number 14 of Kevin Windham here on the red bike because in conditions like this, he is one of the best ever. Is an awesome mud rider. You see Kevin busting out the triple, which we haven't seen from any other riders here tonight. See, so he may be in second, he may not win this heat race, but right now he is setting himself up to find new lines and to be prepared for the main event because you don't get a trophy for this race, only for the main event.
One of the true seasoned veterans on the tour, Kevin Windham. He has certainly seen it all in this sport, a true fan favorite as well. And just about everybody in the pit area will tell you, when you talk about natural talent, Kevin Windham has as much as anybody.
And I think that there's people in the pits and people in the stands that maybe have written Kevin Windham off too, but I think that Kevin has a lot to prove this year. I think he is definitely one of the veterans, but I think he's healthy. I think that he wants to finish up his racing career, maybe it's this year, next year, whatever, with some of his best races ever.
Well, we talked to James Stewart, about what it's going to take to win this thing, and he says, you know what, until somebody beats me, I am the champion. And it's that confidence that he carried with him into this weekend, that aura of, yeah, I'm the champ. This makes such a huge difference for him this year. Maybe part of that has come with him training with Alvin Baker. Oh, he's taking a look down at the side of the motorcycle. It seems like everything's okay. We also talked to James about sizing up his competition.
Chad and Grant, they're great riders. I mean, they're champions, so that's going to be motivation itself. It's not like, the title's been handed to me. I know it's going to be a lot of work, and you guys would be the first one to ride off. Well, it's James Series and James this, but Chad has a ring too. Grant does too. They're champions, and we're all going to be out there racing, and may the best man win.
James is very focused right now. He understands that it's race by race, lap by lap. You focus on the short-term goals. If you complete all of those, next thing you know, you look up, you're at the end, and you reach your final goal, which was the big picture.
And the end of the season will come in Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, first weekend in May. You will see that live right here on Speed as we close out the 2008 season.
You see how patient James Stewart is being right now with these lapped riders? He's just picking his way through. He just switched up that rhythm section.
exploring a little bit since he only got one practice session?
Taking a look around right now, seeing how the track has developed. There's not a lot of urgency right now. He's got a pretty big lead.
Now there'll be an intermission as a checkered flag waves. James Stewart wins heat number 2 for the Supercross class. So he and Gavin Windham and the rest of the top 9 will move on straight to the main to face Chad Reed and the rest. And it should be an outstanding main event. And of course, you'll see every lap of the main event right here, live on Speed, a little later on in the program. We're going to step away for right now, but we're coming right back here to Anaheim. Picking their favorites, writing the names down on the sign. Looks like Chad Reed's got a bunch of fans here tonight. Why shouldn't he? He looked good in heat number 1. Could be a title contender here before the season is done, 2008. Well, heat number 2 is in the books as well. Kawasaki gets the win with James Stewart. Honda's showing strong here in heat number 2, taking 7 of the top 9 spots. Windham, Tedesco, Short, and Sorby all in the top 5. Aaron, now with our winner from heat number 2.
James Stewart looking much more comfortable during his heat race than he did during practice. James, have the track conditions changed that drastically, or did you go back to the pits and do something different to your bike setup?
Well, I mean, you know, it's just all about getting a good start, and I did. I mean, it's gnarly. 20 laps is going to be a fun, long race, but I feel pretty good. You know, I was trying to ride smooth out there, and we'll see what happens, so be good.
James Stewart looking to do the same performance as he did last year, dominate here at Angel Stadium.
Such a big night here in Angel Stadium. Lots of famous names and faces, and the crowd having a huge night as this exciting curtain raiser continues in Anaheim.
Remember your first...
Monday, NASCAR on Speed brings you the preseason rumbles of Sprint Cup and Craftsman Truck Series testing. Champions celebrate in November, but the real work begins in January. NASCAR Preseason Thunder begins Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on Speed. Hard to believe it's almost time for NASCAR, but you know, we've got our own thunder rumbling here in Southern California, the Supercross 2008 season opener. Let's go ahead and take a look at the menu to show you what's coming up throughout the night. We've got the heat races complete. Now we've got the LCQs, both for the lights and for Supercross coming up. We will also visit with the king of Supercross, Jeremy McGrath. But you know, we were talking NASCAR and how appropriate that we brought in Coy Gibbs, former NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver, and now you're involved with Supercross. You've got Joe Gibbs Racing Motocross. How did that all start?
Well, my brother and I weren't very good at driving, so we got involved in other forms of the industry. And my brother's dream really a long time ago was to be in motocross, so he's got his plate full with the NASCAR side, so we're excited to be here with Toyota Yamaha and represent them and do a good job.
Well, obviously we've seen NASCAR, the world's NASCAR and Supercross merge before. Jeremy McGrath, Ricky Carmichael have done some driving. What do you think about the two worlds? Similar in many ways?
They are. They're very similar. You know, we believe you build it with people. We got a great group of guys with Jeremy Albert leading the group, so we're excited about it. We're excited about our riders. We ran into a little trouble here in our first heat race, but we should be all right.
Your riders, you've got Josh Hansen and Charles Summey. Hansen is in, right? He's okay.
Charles, I think he's a little banged up here. We're going to go check on him, see how his shoulder is.
Okay. Well, you guys have everything located in Huntersville, North Carolina. We're used to seeing NASCAR kind of headquartered in North Carolina. How are you going to compete with the resources that go on out here in Southern California?
Well, Yamaha's been a great partner with us, and they provide us with a lot of parts and pieces and technology. And I think it's a benefit there because we're right next to our cup shop, and we do have a lot of resources there, so we can kind of tie into those too.
Okay, well, your dad, Coach Joe Gibbs, his NFL season ended today. So are we going to see him at a Supercross race?
I'd rather him be playing football.
I know.
Keep going on, but yeah, we'll definitely see him with some races coming up, and our heart goes out to them.
All right, thanks a lot, Coy Gibbs. Best of luck to you and your team tonight and throughout the season.
Thank you.
All right, well, don't go away. As the night skies get darker, the action here in Anaheim gets even brighter. More from the Supercross season opener in Anaheim on Speed. Why don't you guys
The Monster Energy AMA Supercross of Anaheim is fueled by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. By Progressive. Visit progressive.com today. And by Thor Motocross, pure motocross. Welcome back to Angel Stadium here in Anaheim, California. Southern California has just been pelted by rain for the last 24 plus hours, but tonight, not necessarily clear skies, but dry skies, and these fans have enjoyed it because it has allowed us to have some pretty good action here so far. Taking a look back at heat number 1 of the big Supercross class. None of that first corner, Jeff. This was a tricky spot all night.
Yeah, and you can see the guys on the inside would just slide by there. Actually, Gibson rounds the outside in this heat. He was one of the few. Chad Reed looks like he's going to make a pass for the lead. Front wheel loses traction.
But Chad would end up working his way up to the front. Makes the pass in the closing stages. Goes on to win heat number 1. But it was a pretty impressive move, too, as he set it up beautifully.
Yeah, Chad Reed is definitely dialed in here tonight.
So Reed wins heat number 1. Then the question becomes, what does James Stewart do? Watch him on the number 7. He's got the red number plate, of course, because he's the reigning champ. A smart move through turn number 1 for James. He ends up coming out with the whole shot.
And that's about all there was to it. The next thing we saw for James Stewart.
Checker flag.
Checker flag.
Well, if you're going to wear pink riding gear, you better win, right?
Definitely.
James Stewart and Chad Reed setting up a great main event coming up a little later on for the Supercross class. But before we do that, we've got some last chance qualifying races, 2 of them. First one will be for the Supercross Lights West Coast division. Those riders are in the gate, and this is your final shot at it, Jeff. If you don't make it out of this in the main event, your night is over. See you in Phoenix.
Yeah, and that's definitely not the way that you want to start the championship. You need to get points in these races, gain a little momentum, but it's all about getting a good start here in the race in this last chance qualifier. There's a lot of great riders here. Andrew McFarlane with a lot of speed. Tommy Hahn. Will Hahn, his brother. Billy Laninovich. Jake Weimer, who won a night at the U.S. Open, and both of the Gosler brothers, the oldest and the youngest Gosler, here in the same last chance qualifier.
There's that 30-second board again. She's going to turn it sideways. As soon as she does, she'll run for the sidelines, and that gate can drop at any time. We'll be underway. Here we go. Last chance qualifier for the lights. Might have been the way to go. One rider had the whole shot there for a minute, but that didn't last long, did it?
I tell you who that was. That was Drew Gosler, the youngest of the 4 racing Gosler brothers.
The 373.
And he's a pretty little guy, so not too much weight, a lot of horsepower on that bike. Really shot out there, but made a little mistake coming out of the first turn. Look at the riders. Now we've had 2 Supercross heats on this track, so the track has changed considerably from when they rode and did not qualify in their lights heat race.
Looks like the 38 of McFarlane is out front. And a good battle. That's Canary on the 45. And a challenge for the lead with the 10. That's Eric McCrewman coming from Oakley, California.
And I tell you, this last chance qualifier in the lights division is so difficult because a lot of these riders are very closely matched in speed. Okay, they're learning what Supercross is all about. What happens, what makes it exciting is that they make a lot of mistakes. And you see riders that are in qualifying position early in this LCQ, the pressure gets to them. They make a mistake, other riders come through the back of the pack. So Every lap in this race is going to be exciting.
Taking a quick look at the number 30 machine, Jake Weimer. Jake sitting in fourth. Boy, McCrimmon trying to steal some of the glory here tonight. A rider we don't get to see a whole lot of. He's trying to win the LCQ.
And look at Weimer there, just really squeezed everything out of that to make that triple. Seat bounced it where you actually sit down on the take-up of the jump, get a little more traction, and shoots over the three because most riders are only doubling.
Weimer on the 30, really pushing Canary on the 45. Fighting over third position right now. Those riders you see on the top of the screen in red, they don't hold any tickets to the main event. Only those riders you'll see listed in green, scrolling across the top of the screen.
We were so focused on Weimer here because he put in a ride at the U.S. Open of Supercross in 2007 that was just amazing.
Oh. Two riders down. Is that Canary? Canary and Hahn? Yeah, that's Canary and Hahn.
Canary and Weimer.
Oh, Weimer, I'm sorry.
And their night is over.
Yeah, they know it. Let's watch the replay. They were battling over third, too, Jeff.
And you see Weimer here on the left side jumps to the inside of the blue bike. They both connect. Canary's weight takes him down. Watch on the outside. Canary in the blue kind of falls against Weimer, but Weimer came in there pretty hard. That was a pretty aggressive move. You see him put his hand up. Hey, sorry about that. That was just gravity got the mistake. Yes. What that does, it takes both riders out of qualifying position.
This is back up at the front now. McCrimmon and McFarland. The Hahn brothers running now in third and fourth. Tommy and Will.
McFarland's on a new ride this year also, switching bikes, hoping for a little bit of extra momentum here. Make a change, and he nails the triple.
Pull it out when you need it, right?
There it is, final lap pass. You see McCrimmon coming up the inside.
He's going to challenge back. Checkered flag, and that's going to make the difference. He does it. Going back to the transfer battle, the Hahn brothers can finish third and fourth here, and they do, and they'll go on to the main event tonight. There's Will Hahn on the 99. He's going to the main with his brother.
So the Hahn brothers are in. Gosler brothers are unfortunately out here tonight.
But how about the ride by Eric McCrimmon right at the very last couple of corners?
Yeah, very impressive because he had qualifying position in second, but he wasn't happy with that. It's going to give him one better gate pick for this main event, and we know getting a good start is going to be the key to winning the main.
Boy, and that's how you make a name for yourself, too. Eric on the Honda, McFarland, and the two Hahn brothers moving on now to the main event for the Supercross Lights West Coast Division. Their field for their main event is set, but we got a lot more racing coming up for these fans here in Anaheim.
Live for the first time on television.
Second annual Lucas Oil Chili Bowl airs live on January 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on HBO pay-per-view. See NASCAR drivers Tony Stewart and Casey Kane take on some of the top Michelin and Sprint car drivers from around the country on an indoor quarter-mile banked dirt oval in Tulsa, Oklahoma. To order this exciting event, contact your local pay-per-view provider. Great event, the Chili Bowl. That'll be a lot of fun. But we've got a tremendous event brewing here in Anaheim. It is the season opener for the 2008 Monster Energy AMA Supercross season. Getting close to the start of the last chance qualifier for the Supercross class. Here's Aaron Bates with a Progressive pre-race report.
Well, the season did not start off right for the number 64 of Tyler Evans. If you notice right beside me here, there's a gate that's open and empty coming into this LCQ. A tough deal for him. He was wanting to be out here, but he went off the track during his first heat race, grabbing his wrist. Obviously, it's injured at this point. He still has a moment to show up to the line, but as of right now, there's no sight of Tyler Evans.
So Tyler Evans waiting. Will we see him? Will we not see him? One of the best self-promoters in the business, Tyler Evans.
Well, he's a very strong individual, and it would play into this track here tonight like this. He would be good on that, but
if he doesn't make it, he's pretty hurt. Here's our up close for the Supercross last chance qualifier. 22 riders, 6 laps, top 2 going on to the main event. Now the starting grid as well for the last chance qualifier for this class. And the biggest names in here, Heath Moss, still not in. Jason Thomas, Mike Alessi. Ooh, he looked so good at the start of heat number 1.
Yeah, let's hope that crash in heat 1 through the whoops is kind of, get the first race nerves out of the way. Also Charles Summey on that JGR Racing Toyota Yamaha.
And there you see Tyler Evans listed there. 32nd board is up, and Mike Alessi on the Suzuki, the yellow bike, right in the middle, the 800. First race moving up to the big Supercross class. Ran the lights division last year.
Quite a bit of pressure on Mike Alessi right now. He is touted at Suzuki. He's the #1 guy.
He's the guy replacing Ricky Carmichael.
And right now he is not in the main event, but he has a short time to prove it.
Trying to get the whole shot as Alessi on the inside. He's gonna do it. But can he hold on to it? No. Jeff, he's got to calm down is what he has to do. Get settled and go get the win.
You see how cautious Mike Alessi was that first lap. We take a look at our leader.
Looks like it's the 55 machine of Balby. Antonio Balby out of Riverside, California. You know, with Alessi, normally, Jeff, when we talk about the last chance qualifier, you and I always say, you know what, if you're in a transfer position, sometimes, one spot here or there in the gate ain't going to make that big a difference when it's the final 4 positions. But I think for Alessi, not just with the team, but mentally for himself, he needs to win this last chance qualifier.
Oh, most definitely. He needs to win this qualifier here. He's got 1 lap under his belt. He needs to get focused, find some hot lines, work his way past Balby, and really put down some hot laps, okay? Get dialed in, ready for that main event. And you see, that was 3 riders off the start that were still down. That's how treacherous it is out of that first turn coming into the first rhythm circuit.
The mechanic you saw in the yellow Suzuki shirt is Mike Gossler. We talked about Drew and Chris Gossler in that last chance qualifier. That's their father, who happens to be one of the best mechanics in Supercross. Was Ricky Carmichael's longtime mechanic, and now he's Michael Alessi's head wrench turner.
Well, and that's what Roger DeCastro did. He put this veteran mechanic with a rider that has quite a bit of talent, a lot of potential. He's hoping that this partnership will produce some great results here, and that Mike Gossler can help guide Mike Alessi through this process of being a seasoned veteran and winning Supercrosses.
Did you see Alessi shaking his head there a little bit? It looked like maybe he's getting a little frustrated almost as we look at the 66 machine of Jacob Marsack. Marsack sits in 3rd now.
Great ride. He needs that 1 more position, though.
See the names scrolling across the top of the screen again. Those names in red, not in the transfer spot, Aaron. Only those in green.
The Mike and Mike team. Mike Gossler now mechanicking for Mike Alessi. Mike, you just gave him a little think before you're out there. What is it that you're telling him? What kind of advice are you giving him?
We have to finish 1st or 2nd, so I'm just telling him to be smart. He's in a good position. All we got to do is finish where we're at. Stay up.
How important is it to you guys to win this LCQ?
Not winning necessarily. We just got to make it to the main event.
The ultimate goal is make it to the main event tonight.
Top 2 will get you in.
I think at this point he's got a lot of pressure coming from behind right now.
He's gotten around Balby.
My mistake. He's making a move. He's moving forward.
Let's show you how he did it as we go back to see how Alessi passed Antonio Balby for the lead.
Take a look. This is that little on-off. Cuts to the inside, just makes a new line. Nobody goes to the inside right now. You go wide, you cut back down. He just decided to make a new line, work his way through the slop, cut off his line, and take it. Nice move.
A lot of changes for Mike this year, and talking to him this weekend. And boy, Balby really not giving up just yet with 3 laps to go here, about 2.5 actually. But Mike, oh, and that's a bobble that could have cost him.
Cross rats.
Oh, and that did cost him. Just when he thought he might have this one won, here comes Balby, who's not giving up.
And what a fantastic piece of work there. Mike Alessi staying on that bike. Strength conditioning playing a part there to muscle that 450 back in line. Now the pressure's really on. And you got Marzak closing up from behind. Both these riders make a mistake. Marzak making up some ground. See him just at the top of our screen. Any mistake by either one of these guys, and Marzak is in qualifying position.
When talking about the mental game, boy, if something happened here and Alessi did not make it to tonight's main event, you want to talk about a huge mental blow. That would be brutal headed to Chase Field in Phoenix next week.
Massive, massive blow because he's got such a great team behind him. He's one of our sport's most talented riders. But I tell you, there's a lot of pressure on him right now.
Oh, Balby makes a mistake, though. Balby makes a huge mistake. And that's going to put Marzak into a transfer position and give the lead right back to Mike Alessi.
And Balby is on the other side of the track, 2 corners before where he went off the track. And you just caught Marzak actually, I believe, went down in the back of the screen there as Balby was going down. We'll take a look at it here. Nice and straight. Cross ruts off the track, over the tough blocks into the other lane. Very fortunate Jason Thomas was another second ahead, or he would have been right there. Balby would have been on top of him.
Marzak is still listed in second place as we're on the last lap, but I did see him struggling. Now they're saying Thomas in second place on our timing and scoring as it's catching up with us.
And that's what I was saying. Thomas was right there. He almost got hit. So fortunate. Puts him into qualifying position.
So Jason Thomas, who will race anywhere in the world, anytime, if there's money up for grabs. He will travel to the farthest corners of the planet to race Supercross to keep his money going. And he's going to get a shot at the main event here in Anaheim tonight.
We'll see Mike Alessi being so cautious at this point. Stopped through the rhythm section, did a single, got back in line.
Celebrating a little bit. Hopefully not too soon.
Hey, the way this race is going, I would not celebrate until I have crossed the checker flag and looked back and confirmed it.
Yeah, right. Right. Checker flag. Now it's in the books. Mike Alessi wins one for the first time for Suzuki. It's a last chance qualifier, and Jason Thomas is going on to the main event.
Remember how we talked, you need a little bit of luck on your side on a night like tonight? I think we just seen that.
It came through for Mike Alessi. And the results will show it. Top 2 riders out of the last chance qualifier get to go to the main, and he's one of them. They'll take the final 2 spots in the main event tonight here in Anaheim. Remember your first true love? Well, this January 15th, it's time to see her again with the 2008 Barrett-Jackson auction. Catch 6 electrifying days of live coverage from the world's greatest collector car event. Live coverage begins January 15th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, exclusively here on Speed. And we're going to Phoenix as well next week to Chase Field, and you'll see that race right here on Speed as well. Main events coming up on Speed Live.
Ben said, we know who's going to the main events. These fans, they know it's coming up. Supercross has become somewhat of a cult following here in Southern California. The Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. Here at Angel Stadium. Welcome back to Anaheim. If this is your very first Supercross race, welcome. We have a feeling it will not be your last. If you're like the fans behind me and all of you watching at home, well, we know you are addicted to the Supercross fever. Along with Ralph Shaheen, Jeff Emick, Aaron Bates, I'm Chris Devoto, working the event tonight, our 2008 Supercross season opener. You know, one of the reasons Supercross has become so popular, some of the great guys who've raced in the past who have made it look so easy. Let's take a look at some of Supercross best The king, Jeremy McGrath, a 7-time Supercross champion. Ricky Carmichael, 48 wins. Of course, Bob Hanna and Jeff Stanton, they paved the path. Do the numbers tell the story? We asked some of the guys in the biz, including some of the guys on this list, who was the best Supercross rider ever?
Best Supercross rider ever, by far, is Jeremy McGrath. You know, they called him the king for a reason.
You have to say the king, Jeremy. I mean, if you go off numbers alone and dominating for how many years, then you'd have to put that him at the top of the list.
That's a tough question. It's obviously between McGrath and Ricky, but I'm going to give it to Ricky because he had to make more adjustments to different riders.
Ricky Carmichael certainly deserves, you know, a greatest of all time label. But, you know, if you talk to Jeremy, he'd probably be like, but I won more Supercrosses and I won more Supercross titles. And Ricky didn't come very close to that.
Got the greatest of all time who's won the most races, and I think you have the king of Supercross. You know, Jeremy added a style and pizzazz that took what Hanna did and what I did and what Stanton did and elevated it.
Well, first of all, you have to look at the genesis of the nickname. It was actually given to him by Matt Walker, who just one day said, you know what, you're the GOAT, you're the greatest of all time, and it kind of stuck. So I can imagine, though, it's been kind of a sore point for Jeremy because, without a doubt, without exception, Jeremy McGrath is the best Supercross rider who ever lived. We call him the king of Supercross, but yeah, he's the GOAT of Supercross, too. And I think that they had comparable careers, but in the end, you look at the numbers, Jeremy set the standard.
Very interesting. Seems like the verdict is kind of divided. So let's see, who did we not hear from in that piece? Who's here tonight? It is the king, Jeremy McGrath. Our Aaron Bates caught up with him earlier today.
Well, I'm standing here in the pits with the king of Supercross, Jeremy McGrath. Jeremy, you've got 72 Supercross career wins, and Ricky Carmichael has 48 Supercross career wins, and he's got the title of greatest of all time. How do you feel about him now being retired, having the title of greatest of all time?
I mean, I think it's just a nickname. I mean, it's just building your own legend, really. You know, I mean, I have 72 wins. He has 48. The numbers speak for themselves. You know, I'm a fan of Ricky's. We're buddies, but I don't think he's the greatest of all time in Supercross, that's for sure.
Undoubtedly still the king of Supercross, Jeremy McGrath, and you can tell that by the fan lined up behind us.
Well, this is the house that McGrath built, but who will be the next to follow in his footsteps? The main events, they're coming up next. You will see it live on Speed. Motocross versus ATV Untamed. It's a video game. You can find it in stores. A sponsor we're glad to have with us here on the Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. We are getting ready to go racing for the main events. You can feel the energy, the electricity here in the Stadium of Angels. Of course, with all the rain, all the bad weather Southern California's been getting, not so much an angel, but almost a devil of a mud bath we had almost behind us. The Dirtworks crew doing a great job getting the track as ready to go as possible. We've seen a lot of ruts. We've seen a lot of guys have problems. You know, in a horse race, the guys who can really handle the mud, the horses, the jockeys, they're called mudders. Well, can you compare that to Supercross? Can you have a mudder on a motorcycle? We talked to some of the guys about the conditions here in Anaheim and some of the past bad weather events.
Windham for the lead on the outside.
There's tracks that I shine on, and you know, in my training, I try to focus on the ones I don't shine at.
Down goes Windham, and Evan Windham on the 14, starting to open up a pretty good lead.
You know, like I said, it's a ever-changing environment, and you got to be ready to adapt at a moment's notice.
Yeah, you got to be able to maybe kind of predict what the track's going to do and change so you don't, you know, get caught off guard by a rut that wasn't there the lap before.
Tedesco looks over his shoulder. There's Stewart. They're side by side off the corner.
You know, definitely got to be on your toes.
And Ivan Tedesco is going to get the whole shot.
The different tracks in Supercross are awesome for the rider. It brings a new challenge every week, and it keeps the excitement there, and it doesn't get monotonous riding the same track week in, week out.
Townley looked like he was just going to start tearing things up after winning 2 in a row.
Adapting to tracks is probably the hardest part for me, just being that, you know, I'm so ingrained with Supercross.
you know, going to different tracks, you got different dirt, you got the setup different. I've always kind of been one just to, you know, go out, ride the track, and get it down as fast as I can, and go out and race.
The dirt is probably the one thing that, you know, that you could say, oh, this track or this track, and you know, if you talk about Atlanta, everyone just thinks about how cool the red, you know, nice play is. It's got good traction, it gets some ruts, and then you talk about, you know, something like Vegas, it's the dreaded blue groove, hard pack, dusty, and it's extremely difficult for the, you know, the maintenance guys to keep up to the track.
His 13th win in the 2007 season for James Stewart.
And it's good, you know, you got to attack the track the same way. We come out with a lot of intensity, and we all want to win. So, I mean, as long as you prepare yourself during the week, it don't matter what kind of track you got, you know you're ready going to it.
Attack the track. That's the advice. You see some of the ruts, the Dirtworks crew getting it ready. It's the main event of the lights when we come back.
Told you about our Go Green sweepstakes. This is your opportunity to win a LG widescreen flat panel HD TV. If you can answer our question, who is the first Kawasaki rider to win the Anaheim Supercross in the 250 Supercross class? You can text your answer to Speed 3 77333. Good luck to you. Hope you can win it. Let's check in for a progressive pre-race report with Aaron.
The 122 of Dan Reardon. He may be the former Supercross champ of Australia for the past 3 years, but tonight he is making his official debut here in the Supercross Lights class in America. You did see him race at the US Open, but he did say that he wasn't having his best performance there because there was some cartilage torn from his ribs, and that was definitely not his best performance. He said, make sure you keep your eye on the 122 because we're going to be seeing a lot more of them this season.
Aaron, I was wondering, did you steal Jeff's boots before the night?
I tried my best. I tried my best. I've got some beautiful little cherries on these boys.
Hey, and I'm telling you, we got the Chili Bowl coming up soon. I think that's a Chili Bowl down there, you know?
Let's show you our Supercross lights up close as we get ready for the main event. 22 riders are in the gate. This is for 15 laps. The two heat race winners, Ryan Dungey and Jason Lawrence, of course, in there. And Eric McCrummon, who won that last chance qualifier. Last year's winner, Ryan Villopoto, not in the event this year. He's going to run the East Coast. Let's show you the starting grid now. The season opening main event for the West class. Well, Jason Lawrence and Ryan Dungey, Jeff, both doing exactly what we said they had to do tonight. Make a statement. They both won the heat races. They both look great. Now we see them go head up.
They both were very comfortable, and we've seen some other riders that seem to really be battling the nerves. Broc Hepler, a veteran, qualified a little bit further back. The rookie Austin Stroupe, maybe showing a little bit of nerves, but our top two qualifiers and lights heats winners, these guys are dialed in. That's who I think is going to be battling for the lead.
There's Ryan Dungey, and he's got Jason Lawrence just to his right. You see Lawrence on the 338. And Zach Osborne right there on the 76. Here we go, main event time. Go to the 133, I believe that is. Challenge already brewing for the lead with the 51 of Stroupe. The 122 it wasn't. Got the whole shot. That's Daniel James Reardon.
That's just who Aaron was talking about. Supercross champion from Australia is now here. This is his first official lights main event of his career. Great way to start it off.
Here comes Dungey, challenging Stroupe on the outside. Dungey's in that 28.
And another first-time rider, 51 here. This is his first lights Supercross of his career. This kid has a lot of speed.
And of course, that 51 number spent a lot of time in the front of the West Coast fields last year when Ryan Villopoto ran that number. So Stroupe running in second, holding up Dungey.
We've seen some riders trying to work this left line where Dungey is.
Reardon out in front as Dungey moves to second, and it looks like Stroupe's going to get another challenge.
For the rookie, the heat is on. He is being gobbled up right now by some seasoned veterans.
That was Braden on the 114. Braden giving Stroupe all he can handle now.
And Braden has been on fire all day. He's a veteran right now, and you can see that his fitness and his aggression, his intensity is extremely high right now. He is working his way to the front.
Here comes Lawrence on the inside as well, the 338. There he goes past Stroupe. So Stroupe getting an idea quickly of just how intense the competition will be in the main, as Dungey now goes after Reardon for the lead.
And one thing to remember, Reardon, he is a rookie in this series, but he has plenty of professional racing under his belt in Australia. But he now has arrived, and he's showing us what he has.
Once again, the mechanics reminding the riders to breathe. Here comes Dungey. Oh, bit of a mistake there. Oh, and that can get even worse if he's not careful. Reardon gets in there, and Lawrence comes by now, picking up a couple of spots. And Dungey slips back 2 positions.
Great racing action as Braden works his way into second.
Lawrence is now right behind him. Dungey and then Stroupe on the 51. And the top 5 all sitting there right together.
And I know this is a heated battle, but if you focus on Reardon in his corners, he's hesitating a little bit mid-corner. Right there, that's where everyone is making up time on him. These riders behind him are really stacking up. Reardon is going to be feeling the pressure big time.
5-6 top riders. Metcalfe running in 6 on the 123. All right there. Boy, if we get this all year in the West Coast Series, it's going to be spectacular. Here comes Lawrence now to second and challenging for the lead already.
And right there, you see Lawrence stack up in the back of Reardon as he cut down. They had to wait on Reardon to make the turn. Lawrence has got some extremely fast lines.
Dungey to the inside. He gets Lawrence, and now he goes after the 114 of Reardon. Here comes Lawrence right back on the outside. Tremendous action here in the season opener for the Monster Energy Supercross Lights class.
Look at number 51, Austin Stroupe. Heart rate has got to be fired up right now, but he's hanging right in there as we see his teammate Metcalfe coming up at the back of this pack.
Make a mistake and it can cost you 3-4 positions. Dungey looking inside. He's now in third. Lawrence still looking at the back of Reardon's machine. Look at Lawrence through the whoops. He's got the lead. The crowd reacting as Jason Lawrence takes the lead. Jeff, he won the heat race for the first time earlier tonight. Could he get the main event win here at Anaheim?
It seems he has something to prove, and Ryan Dungey once again has kept his cool, but how many times on the East Coast last year did we see Ryan Dungey battle just like this? He's been in this position before.
Dungey's going to have to get around Reardon quickly through the whoops. Working the 122 on the outside. Got it. Now he's got to set after Lawrence. There you see the gap between first and second. Lawrence on the blue Yamaha. Dungey on the yellow Suzuki.
As of right now, Lawrence has the faster lap by about a half a second over Dungey. Dungey's going to have to find some new lines. Follow the back of Jason Lawrence. You see him closing it up right there. You see Jason using the inside just out of our screen.
Looks like Braden's moved up to third. Reardon's back to fourth. And Stroupe's trying to get around him now.
I tell you, Stroupe got freight train here at the beginning of the race, but man, has he picked it up. He has tagged on to the back of these riders.
Working through the yellows on the rhythm section, where a couple of riders have gone down. That's the fight for the lead right there.
And we're close to halfway through this 15-lap main event. We talked about how both of these riders have got former Supercross riders as their trainers. Right now is when it's going to start to pay off all the work that they've done in the offseason.
Let's go back and take a look at the progressive whole shot replay.
And look at Reardon in the middle on the red bike. This was his all the way. He brakes early. Nice pivot on the inside of the turn. No doubt that was Reardon's all the way.
Now here's how Lawrence took the lead.
On the blue bike, down the inside. Has a great line on Reardon. He just pulls up out of the way. He knows the pass has been made.
Jason Lawrence, your leader, working with Ryan Hughes. Ryan Dungey working with the great Osho. Johnny O'Mara. Boy, it is paying off for both of these riders. Two different approaches to training, too, between Hughes and Johnny. Oh, look at Stroupe now having problems on the 51.
And you can see he's pulled one of those tough block covers off there on the inside. Luckily, it's not hanging on his foot peg.
Battle for the lead, tightening up a little bit. Here comes Dungey. Can Lawrence clear the slower traffic? Got a lot of traffic in front of him coming up here, Jeff.
This is where it gets tricky because it's hard to switch your line. On a track like tonight, maybe on the inside you get locked into a rut and you can't get out of it for 30 or 40 feet. So if a slower rider is there, you're locked in.
And maybe reacting to what the other guy does could be better fit. Dungey jumps him though. Why worry about trying to get him on the ground when you can get him through the air?
He literally jumped over the top of Jason Lawrence as he slowed from the left rider, only able to double the triple jump. Dungey found a line, straightened the bike out, and absolutely hammered the throttle, just launched over the triple.
Just past the halfway point now. 7 laps remaining of the scheduled 15. You're going to see them all live here on Speed. Let's go back and see now how Dungey pulled this off in mid-flight.
You see Dungey, he chooses to just split right between the left rider and Lawrence. Incredible move, incredible risk involved there, incredible confidence to know that he can pull that off.
Well, look at this. Lawrence is not done. He comes right back at him. And Jeff, that is such a part of Supercross racing. The risk-reward and how it pays off or costs you in this sport.
Most definitely. Here, Lawrence chooses another line.
Lots of traffic in front of these two riders.
And it's so difficult because you come up on the back of these left riders sometimes so fast.
Oh, Lawrence! There's a mistake that might cost him the win. He might not have time to make that up. 6 laps remain now, and Dungey's got a little breathing room.
That will give Dungey quite a bit of breathing room so he can relax and he will know he's going to get the board from his mechanic here next lap around. And they'll give him the time interval to know how big that cushion is for the lead. As Brayton now is in second.
Lawrence slips to third, Reardon's fourth, and Stroupe still sits in fifth. Let's see what happened to Jason on that 338 Yamaha.
Watch as he comes down the end of the whoops. He's on the blue bike on the left. Dungey stacks up with the lappers, and just like we've seen so many times tonight, seems like everything's fine when the bike just loses traction. So incredibly difficult, this track, and right there Jason showed a lot of strength in that body to almost hold that bike up, keep the engine running and get back going.
Stay smooth. 5 laps to go. The mechanics tell Ryan Dungey.
Ryan Dungey has to be feeling very good at this point, but no way can he lapse his concentration because this last 5 laps, the track is going to change. It's going to be extremely difficult. Lapped riders, other riders being fatigued, falling, crashing like we've seen right here in the way, and that could happen in a split second.
Battle for second, Brayton getting challenged. Looks like it's Lawrence coming back up.
See Brayton just stretching that triple out. Just he was about a foot short for trying to make that bike just pull it over those 3 jumps.
Timing and scoring showing Lawrence now up to second. Brayton in third. Reardon in fourth.
holding on strong. He's still in fifth. This is a great ride for him. Early on in this race, it looked like he was going to be frazzled and get dropped to the back of the pack. He has regrouped, and he is now on it. Just like Justin Brayton, really fantastic ride here tonight.
Well, in these, there's our race leader, Ryan Dungey, and these lights seasons are short, Jeff. There's not a whole lot of races, so if you can get off to a good start like Ryan Dungey, it really puts you in good shape to run to the championship.
No doubt, and Ryan Dungey right now, very consistent. His best time, a 58.1. He's running that about right now. Okay, so he's fast here in the later laps. We talked about Justin Brayton earlier. His best time is a 59. Now he's about a second or two slower than that.
Let's go back and see how far back Jason Lawrence is. It should be about an 11-second gap between first and second, Dungey and Jason Lawrence. Now we will see the East and the West Coast riders competing heads up only one time this year. In fact, we'll see it live here on Speed at the East-West Shootout from Las Vegas, the season finale of the year, first weekend of May.
And what an incredible journey it is from where we are now to that East-West Shootout, because we see these young riders, we see them mature, we see them win races and gain confidence, and their whole personalities change. They win fans all across the United States by putting out that effort.
You saw Dungey go by. Here's the gap back to Lawrence. As Jason continues to work his way around, it's a good 11 seconds right now.
11 seconds behind. He almost made it a little bit longer there. You see him take a little bit of a ride going through that whoop section with only 2 to go. Like I said, this track is so difficult here at the end of the race. Your muscles are fatigued, you're tired, your heart rate's wide open. Very easy to make mistakes.
Justin Brayton sits in third. Okay, Jeff, so Dungey's going to take a tremendous amount of momentum and belief in his plan right now on to Phoenix. What does Jason Lawrence take from this? He got a heat race win. However, he had a shot at the win here and a mistake cost him.
He thinks about it all week. Thinks about how disappointed he is that he's worked in the offseason and that he didn't win this race when he clearly had a chance. It fuels the fire. He will come back next week even stronger with even more fire and determination.
That's what Ryan Hughes is going to try to instill in him.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to be Jason Lawrence this week. Rhino's going to put him through the ringer.
Ryan Dungey and Johnny O'Mara will go to work this week getting ready for Phoenix, but they're going to have momentum behind them and a big win at the season opening round of the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Lights West Coast season.
And I tell you what, how this race was in the beginning with all those riders really on par, giving it their all. This is going to be an awesome Supercross season. I cannot wait to go through this journey.
Ryan Dungey, final couple of corners, and the checkered flag awaits. The winner here at Anaheim won the season opening round of the Supercross Lights West Coast title chase goes to Ryan Dungey. Jason Lawrence, with a fine second place effort, sets himself up as a title contender for the West Coast crown.